In 1996, 5 hikers signed the trail register at Racetrack Playa in Death Valley National Park at 6:40 in the morning, and then their footprints simply stopped on the hardpan clay, mid-stride with no wind, no rain, and no reason for anyone to stop walking there. Rangers searched 200 square miles of open desert. They found nothing, and that is the problem. Their names were Daniel Ortiz, 34, a licensed backcountry guide who had led trips through the Panamint Range for 6 years. With him were siblings Marlene and Corey Hoyt, 29 and 31, both experienced desert hikers, and 2 graduate students, Priya Nair and Tom Alders, on their first trip into Death Valley. They left Furnace Creek before sunrise to avoid the heat, packed 4 liters of water each, and told the ranger station they'd be back by 2 p.m. The morning was mild for the valley, 85 degrees, clear sky, no advisories. At 6:40 a.m., all 5 signed the trail register at Racetrack Playa. At 7:15, a tour van passes them a mile up the dry lakebed, heading toward the Grandstand Rock Formation. That's the last confirmed sighting. 9:02, Ortiz's radio check-in to the ranger station goes unanswered, dismissed at first as dead terrain for signal. At 11:30, when the group misses a scheduled water cache pickup, a second guide radios ahead. Nothing. By 1:50 p.m., 10 minutes before their expected return, a ranger drives the access road and finds their 2 vehicles still parked, untouched, keys inside one of them. No one is at the trailhead. The search begins that afternoon and runs for 9 days. 40 personnel, 2 helicopters, 4 tracking dogs, and infrared sweeps at night when the ground cools enough for thermal cameras to work. Rangers walk the entire playa grid by grid. They find the group's footprints leading northeast across the clay, 5 distinct sets, evenly spaced, no stumbling, no dragging. And then, roughly 1.3 miles from the register, on a stretch of open flat with no rock, no wash, no cover for a mile in any direction, the footprints end, not fade. End. The tracking dogs reach that point and stop, circle, and refuse to go further. No blood, no torn clothing, no disturbed ground. Their unopened water bottles are never found at all. The leading theory forms fast: heat disorientation. Investigators propose the group pushed too far, got turned around by the shimmer off the salt flat, and dehydration killed their judgment before it killed them, scattering them into the dunes where the desert erased all trace. It's the simplest explanation, and for years it's the one the Park Service leans on in public statements. 5 people, overconfident in mild weather, undone by a landscape that punishes the smallest miscalculation. Case closed, more or less, in everyone's mind but the family's. Except the weather logs from that morning contradict it. The temperature at 9 a.m. never exceeded 88 degrees, survivable for hours, even without shade. And Ortiz wasn't a novice. He'd guided this exact route 11 times. 2 of the other hikers were trained in desert survival themselves. Heat disorientation doesn't explain 5 separate, experienced adults losing coordinated judgment at the same moment, in mild conditions, without a single one of them reaching for the water they were carrying. And when investigators finally locate the group's discarded daypacks 8 days later, half a mile off the presumed line of travel, every water bottle inside is still sealed, untouched. If they were dying of thirst, they never drank. Here is the detail the Park Service left out of its early statements. At the exact point where the footprints end, rangers found one item: a single hiking boot, Priya Nair's, standing upright on the clay, laces still tied as if she had stepped out of it and set it down. Not torn off, not scattered by wind, placed. No second boot was ever recovered, and no explanation for why anyone mid-hike, mid-stride, would stop to remove one shoe and leave it standing in the open desert has ever been offered by anyone who examined the scene. The case remains open with the National Park Service, unresolved after nearly 30 years, filed alongside a short list of Death Valley disappearances with no bodies, no motive, and no closing report. If they didn't wander off thirsty and lost, what made 5 people stop walking at the exact same step?